Hey, Perry Sound High School. It's Jamie Doherty, and I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about the blank course shell, which is now affiliated with your course on the Elearning Ontario course website. The first thing that you need to do to access that blank course shell is type in your username and your password. Your username is first name dot last name, and your password should be welcome, WELCOME, and no uppercase or anything at all. If you've been on eLearning Ontario's website before, then your password certainly will have changed. So once you've logged on, you'll come to a screen that looks sort of similar to this one. A whole bunch of information, but what you're kind of concentrating on is on the right hand side, your courses. You'll probably just have one course, and it will be called HR01 HR last name PSHS. So just click on that. There are lots of advantages for why you might want to consider having a blank course shell. First of all, it is easier to create your own course content rather than try and go on and be a computer programmer and manipulate a whole bunch of things from someone else's course. So a blank shell is quite good. The internet's a little bit slow during this video, so I apologize for that, but I'll keep talking and we'll work through this together. There are three things that I think that you want to kind of look at. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed by hopping on board, but the three things include content, which my mouse is circling around right now, calendar, and news. If you can jump on, you have an interest in blended learning, and you want to experiment with what it kind of looks like, use your course shell. I think it really has some huge potential. You can create news very quickly, you can tie your news and your content together, and you can tie your content to those things as well. The rest of this is kind of taking blended learning to the next level. I don't want to intimidate people. I don't want you to think that in a blended learning course scenario that you really need to have online discussions and you have to do Dropbox submissions and quizzes and all that kind of stuff. The best place to start is kind of small. Either consider just doing one lesson, maybe do one unit, and if you feel comfortable with that and a lot of your stuff is already electronic, then you can start to think about making it sort of a bigger picture scenario. I would say that news is easily the best place to start. And by the way, you can hide and manipulate a lot of this stuff. Just let me know and I'd love to work with you on it. So I'm going to create a new news item. And I use blended learning right now, or at least I have in the earlier stages, mostly as just a display tool. Something that is accessible for folks from home that parents and guardians can hop on and see. And it really is well organized overall. So I'm going to create a new news item. Sorry about that. After you've had a chance to click on that start a new news item, you're going to give it a headline of some sort. So it might be today's lesson. And in here it's going to be something. You might have a to-do list of different things that you're up to. And you can really decorate this, obviously changing the font and all that kind of stuff, but there's a couple of cool things that I want to address. Number one is insert stuff. So you would click on insert stuff, and if you have a file on your computer and you want to import that, that works really well. If you want to import a YouTube clip and enter an embed code, so for instance you're using Prezi in your lesson, and Prezi is a presentation tool. You can log on to Prezi in a different, obviously using a different tab on your computer. And on Prezi right now, you can copy the embed code, come back to the LMS, and enter your embed code. Basically just paste it right in there. And the cool thing is once that's happened, it'll launch in your news items. So I want this information to show right away. That has to do with the availability. And as I said, you could have lots of attachments. You can even record audio stuff there if you want to. So just like that, when I go back to my course homepage, you see that there is what we're up to today. The challenge with what I've just done is that the information If I want to teach the same course or teach the same content down the road, maybe in a year or 2 years from now, the information on the news item becomes a little bit difficult to get back to. So the best scenario is that you also replicate that information in the content section. So I'm going to go into content really quickly, and I'm going to create new content. So I'm going to add content. It's going to be a new module. It might be blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to just save and close that. So it's a new parent module that's right here. That's the one that I just created. And I want to add a file, add a new file that will go into that. The module that I just created is this one. Blah, blah. And as I said again, I would probably want to consider entering, sort of, images to decorate and other things that I talked about earlier. But you can experiment with a lot of those things. And save and close. So I'm going to go back once again to my course homepage. So now I have today's lesson here, but I also have what's relevant to today's lesson in my content section. So what's really neat is now you can kind of add some cool things to your news item. I'm going to show you one quick little trick here. Is we're going to edit today's lesson, and now that I'm in here, I'm going to create something called a quick link. And the quick link basically prevents students from having to search through a whole bunch of different content to get the information that is what we would consider today's lesson. Okay, so the type of content, the type of resource is content, which we just created, and it shows up right under here as that. And the link caption could be that. And I'm going to update. So now, once again, in my today's lesson, students can kind of get a sense of what we're up to today. And I can very quickly click on that, and it takes me right into the content section that I created earlier. So it's a really, really neat way to keep things organized, and I don't think that other programs do this quite as well. I'm going to go back to my course home, and I told you before that there are 3 things that would be kind of nice to have connect with one another. So the calendar is one of those. So I'm going to create an event for my calendar, and I'm going to call it today's lesson, and I could have just a brief description. Sorry for my typing skills. Okay, and I'm going to add content, and I just created that thing earlier, so I'm going to select that one that I created and add it in, and I want it to show up today, and I can just go to create. So it's the trifecta, if you will. Sorry, my calendar is quite busy. So I've got content, calendar, and news all connecting with one another. And I think that's the best place to start if you're really interested in considering blended learning. There is so much versatility in this program, and I think that things are so well organized, certainly with some effort on your end, but it's so well organized and it's almost foolproof for students.